I lived at West Plains, Missouri, and we lived on a farm. And my dad, he would get out some days and he would call the cows in, and he'd go, "Woo, Nellie, woo, Dorothy, woo, Judy," and them cows, they'd come to the barn. And anyhow, my dad, he had two sister-in-laws, and he named those cows after them. And they never did think that was funny, because he had two sisters and he could have named them cows after them. And so anyhow, my dad, he decided one day to borrow his neighbor's bull. And so he asked his neighbor, he said, "Can I borrow your bull?" And his neighbor said, "Well, okay, we can do that." And so my dad, he brought that bull up there and turned it loose. And he had that bull for about 2 months. And one day he saw his neighbor, and his neighbor said, "Can I have my bull back?" And my dad said, "Okay, we can do that." And so anyhow, my brother and me, we weren't at home because we had the measles. And in that day, the doctor, he would come out to your house and he would give you shots of medicine. And so anyhow, the doctor came out and gave my brother and me some medicine, shots for the measles. And so we were at my grandma's house the day my dad took the bull back. And so my dad, he went out to the barn and tied a rope around the bull and started to lead the bull to the truck. And that bull, he just would not budge. And my dad, he pulled and he yanked on that rope, and that bull, he just looked at my dad, and I mean, he didn't move at all. And my dad, he said, "This is a lot of trouble. I need me a cup of coffee." And so he went to the house, told my mom, he said, "I need some coffee." And he said, you can come with me and we'll take that bull back." Well, they didn't know it, but that bull walked up there and walked around this tree and looked at his pickup. And anyhow, that bull thought, "I'm not going to get in that pickup." And so anyhow, the bull, he walked back around the tree. And when my dad and mom come out of the house, that bull was standing in that exact same spot he left it. And so my dad, he said, "Go ahead and get in the pickup truck." He says, "I'm going to pull that bull." He says, "We only got 2 miles ago." Says, "That ain't going to hurt that bull." And so they got in the pickup and off they went. And my dad, he turned on the radio and he said, "I'll take a cup of coffee." And so it was a country road and dust was flying. And my mom, she looked back and she said, "Well, that bull has fallen down and you're dragging that bull." And so my dad, he slammed on the brakes, and when he did, that jerked that bull back, and that bull was pinned to that tree. And that bull was going, "Ah!" And it was slobbering, making all kinds of noise. And my dad, he ran back there, was pulling on that rope, couldn't get that bull stuck from that tree. And my mom says, "My goodness, you're going to kill that bull. That bull's going to die. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" And so my dad said, "You run to the house and get a knife, and we'll cut that bull loose." And so my mom, she ran to the house, ran in the kitchen, and got this great big butcher knife. And out the back door she went. Well, she had forgot that the steps had rotted out, and she did a somersault and fell to the ground and just barely missed sticking that big butcher knife in her chest. And so up along the side of the house and across the yard she ran to my dad, and she gave him that butcher knife, and he began to cut that rope, and that bull got that bull loose. And that bull's eyes had rolled back to the back of his head, and that bull was just moaning and just making all kinds of noise. And anyhow, my dad had taken hide off that bull, and that bull's back was bleeding. And my mom, she says, "Well, what are you going to do?" She says, "We can't pay for that bull." And my dad says, "I don't know." He said, "When I take him back," he goes, "I'll think of something." And so anyhow, he said, "Come on, Bill." And that bull just walked up there like a little puppy dog. And my dad, he could just lead that bull any place he wanted to. So he loaded it into the pickup truck. And took it home to the neighbors. And anyhow, my mom, she stayed home, and my dad loaded that bull, and that bull went out there in the field, and he was getting ready to leave, and here came that friend that he borrowed that bull from. And his friend said, well, you brought my bull back. And my dad said, yeah, I did that. And so while they were standing there, another bull jumped the fence and started fighting that bull. And man, they were going at it, and they were digging on the dirt, and I mean, they was really pushing on each other. And my dad, he looked at his friend, he said, should we go down there and separate those two bulls? And anyhow, his friend said, nah, says, that bull down there's fighting my bull, it's a sissy bull. Says, it don't even have any horns. He says, you just let them bulls fight. Says, he said, that's what bulls do, they just fight. And so my dad said, okay. And so he got in his pickup truck and started driving away. And my dad, he looked up in the sky and he says, well, thank you, Lord. So anyhow, my dad, he was out in the front yard one day, and here came that friend of his, come driving up that road like a maniac. And I mean, he slammed on his brakes. He got out. He says, you're not going to believe this. He said, that sissy bull, it tore my bull up. He said, my bull was bleeding. He said, the skin was off of its back. He said, I'm going to go to I just came from the doctor and I got some medicine. He says, I'm going to go doctor my bull. He said, you know, you were right. We should have separated those two bulls.